And nearly two-thirds of UK businesses surveyed in India in a recent report believe it is getting easier to do business in the country, owing to progressive reforms and improvements in the availability of support and service providers, skilled labour and supply chain. According to a report unveiled by UK IBC, this has happened. However, findings from UK India Business Council's Doing Business in India report says there are certain significant challenges that remain as well. This report comes at a time when UK and India have committed to an enhanced trade partnership. And to talk more on this report, we are joined by UK India Business, UK IBC's CEO, Jayant Krishna. Welcome to you, Mr. Krishna. First of all, I would like to know from your side, what are the positives working for India and why the UK businesses are finding now easier to do business in India?
I think, one is the barriers to doing business with India, are reducing. If you look at our ease of doing business ranking, it has improved from 140th something to 63rd last year within a span of 4 or 5 years. So I think it's become much more better experience for businesses in UK to engage with India, and that is evident, from the FDI that India attracts from UK. If you look at last 10 years itself, we have got about 22 billion pound sterling worth of FDI into India. If you look at the trade, last year the trade between the two countries itself was of the order of 24 billion pounds, and which showed a close to 10% increase over last year. So I think there is a critical mass. UK is already, the second largest G20 country, second, fastest growing G20 investor in India. And, there's already a critical mass of lots of companies like HSBC, Vodafone, Cairn, JCB, British Petroleum, Diageo, Glaxo, Rolls-Royce, and the list is long. So I think this is a very positive development, and not that all issues on the ground have disappeared. But it's far, with every passing year, this is not the new report, we have been doing it for the last 6 years, and with every passing year we have found that, the ease of doing business has improved, and many business parameters have, government has been able to reform lots of things, lots of processes have improved, but still, a long way to go.
And regulatory uncertainty remains a challenge in this aspect as well.
Absolutely. So regulatory uncertainty has been cited by the British businesses, as the top reason, which is a barrier to India. It has been the top factor in the last few years. But the good point is, the good story is that this year lesser number of people have voted regulatory uncertainty as a big issue. So this year, what we did, we probed this deeper. That what exactly people mean by regulatory uncertainty, what are the issues which cause pain to the British businesses. And we have found, foreign exchange, regulations and some lack of clarity there. This is one big issue. The goods and services tax, while it was a great reform, but the process issues, the implementation challenges, they continue to be a big hurdle. Perhaps, import tariffs. A lot of people who export to India, they find that import tariffs are still prohibitive. Also alignment. I mean, they want Indian businesses and industry and the government to align with international standards. In different verticals, in different sectors, if there are worthwhile international standards, India should embrace them rather than, invent its own standards. So these are the main issues. Incorporation of the company has become faster now. It doesn't take that kind of time, but perhaps, it is still higher than the kind of experience that they have in Britain itself, or UK companies have in other countries. Judicial processes, just in case their business takes them to court, then they find very cumbersome to engage with the judicial system in India, and also the resolution time is long, and as they say, justice delayed is justice denied. So these are the issues which still remain, despite lot of improvements which India as a country has shown in ease of doing business.
But there are some issues like Vodafone's retro tax case and Cairn case is also coming up. So how do these impact the UK-India economic ties and also the ease of doing business in India?
See, regulatory uncertainty is no business, is that nobody would like to have. You know, when a major company from UK or for that matter anywhere in the world would decides to invest in India, you know, they would expect, you know, that the major rules of the game do not change midway. You know, they are okay with some tinkering of tax structure here and there, you know, some changes, you know, to improve the system. But you know, a major introduction of a retrospective tax, for example, which happened in 2012. I think that did cause some pain in the industry, and also it was a bit of a dampener to the investor sentiments. You know, so you know, the arbitration case that you referred to, UK IBC's stand has been that, you know, Government of India should accept that and honor that, because even if it's tantamount to loss of revenue for the government, but the government has said repeatedly, the former finance minister, even the prime minister has said that, you know, this is a legacy issue which they have inherited, and you know, they would like to do away with it. You know, a few years back, these statements were there. So we still hope, you know, that Government of India would honor it, accept it, because it will send a huge signal, positive signal to not only the UK industry, but industry all across the world at a time of the pandemic. You know, when a lot of countries all over the world are looking at India very seriously to relocate part of their supply chains. I think this would send a very, very positive signal, and it will be like a magic, you know, for investor sentiments from UK and elsewhere in the world.
One last quick question to you, Mr. Krishna, is that now post COVID-19, how do you see the things changing? Also vis-a-vis China, how do India stand? Like, where do we stand when it comes to attracting UK companies from China? So, how are things going to change post COVID-19?
See, one thing I wanted to share with you that COVID, you know, findings in the survey are very encouraging. You know, only about 35% companies said, you know, that 1/3 of the companies said that, you know, COVID would dampen, you know, their business in India, and there could be, you know, the growth rate may fall. But 2/3 of the country said that their business in India, the UK companies said that their business in India because of COVID will not be impacted or grow. Actually, 22% of the companies said that, you know, during the pandemic, the business UK companies do in India would actually grow. So these are very encouraging sentiments, and I agree the world is looking as alternate to China in terms of locating their manufacturing supply chains. But you know, I mean, all these things don't happen overnight. India is actually, you know, a forerunner country in terms of being attractive, and I'm very happy that India as a country has seen this pandemic as an opportunity to reform. The kind of reforms which have happened in the agri space, the reforms which have happened in the SME space, you know, more credit availability to the SMEs and large corporates with more credit guarantees by the government. I think these are very, very encouraging signals, and I think, you know, India has to be very, very reasons to be upbeat, but we can't be complacent at all, because as I said, it's a long way to go. And, you know, I mean, attracting industries has almost become a competitive sport, to use a light term. And therefore, you know, I think India, you know, has to compete with many other countries. You know, it's already, you know, a great destination for UK companies based on their past experience. And, you know, I'm sure, you know, we will go a long way. And it's you know, after all, it's a question of a relationship between two countries which have historic ties, which have a shared history, a shared culture, values, and they are the biggest democracies, and already a critical mass of investment of UK companies in India. And the reverse is also true. India is today the second largest investor in UK. So I think I see a lot of hope and promise. It's just that we should not slow down our pace of reform, and reforms have to keep happening, you know, at the speed of thought. That's the very, very critical.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Krishna, for joining us and giving us this perspective from the point of view of how UK companies want to invest in India and what are the impediments that can come in their way.